Hello there folks, and welcome back to the Chaps Guide. My name is Ash and I'm your host on this journey through men's style, self-development and personal grooming. Now today I would like to talk to you about the 5 positives to the aging process. Because whilst I openly acknowledge that aging is no fun, and believe me, there are certain aspects of it which I would much rather forego, as I have now entered my 6th decade. I'm 51. There are certain aspects to it which you can't trade off, you can't wish away, because they are absolutely part of the personality that you are. Now, one of my very good YouTube friends, Tim Crow, who runs the Big Pretty channel, and I'll put a link to that down below, he posted a video on the positives to being in your 50s, and he challenged me to share what my thoughts, my positives to the aging process are. So let us get started. Now, my positive number 1 about the aging process is that as you grow older, you come to value your mind and your body far more than you did when you were a young person. Now, I have to admit, when I was a young fellow, I enjoyed myself. I drank far too much alcohol and I lived life to the absolute full. As you can imagine, I was 17 when I left home and joined the military, so my life was one of gay abandon, that is fair to say. But as I have grown older, I now look back and I realise that I missed many profitable days of my life because I had a thumping hangover, or I was crippled up with nausea as a consequence of drinking too much and perhaps enjoying myself just that little bit further than I should have. So now, as I have grown older, I understand the preciousness of the time which remains in front of me, and I really don't want to waste any more days feeling sick or with a thumping headache. So now, whilst I do decompress my mind from time to time with a little bit of, a little glass of whiskey, the reality is I drink infrequently and in very reasonable amounts. And that way I get something out of the alcohol, which is good for me, and the alcohol doesn't take too much out of me in return. The way I like to think about it, alcohol and other inebriants, well, they are a danger, and a bit like other dangerous activities like skydiving, they should be treated with enormous respect and, treated with great reverence. Otherwise, they can bite you on the back end and take great chunks out of your life, which you should be living yourself. Now, the second thing which I would like to say has been a positive in my aging journey has been the fact that I now think I've got a greater understanding of the meaning of life. And definitely this has been one of the gifts of the unfolding of the years in front of me. As I've gained more knowledge and experience with the passing of time, actually this game of life starts to reveal itself to you. And you realise that it's not actually the destination of where the journey is going, it's the journey itself which holds the pleasure for you. Now, I have to say, previously in my youth, I kind of thought that my journey was all about accumulation. I thought that my mission in life was to acquire wealth and to get personal achievement under my belt, to get promoted in my job and get to the highest position I could, earn as much money as I could. And I became one of those people who liked shiny things, and I thought that accumulating more shiny things was the goal. But actually, I can tell you now, I spent 10 years of my professional life in the military, and I spent 25 years of my professional life in law enforcement. And those 2 roles made me realise the fragility of the human existence. I can tell you now that, I've seen many great aspects of life, and I've been exposed to a great many sudden and unexpected deaths. And when you see all of these things in balance, you will quickly realise that those shiny things, they have no meaning. Your personal achievement, it isn't measured in the success in your job. It can be measured in the human interactions that you encounter as you go through life. family and friends are the immeasurable treasure of the human existence. Money, wealth, the baubles, gold and things like that, it means nothing at the end of the day. After all, if you lose a family member or a friend, you'll soon come to the thought process that no amount of money, no amount of wealth can ever replace that missing person. So what value is wealth and money and shiny things? After all, even if you own a Ferrari or a Rolex watch, what is its worth if you have nobody in your life to share it with? The third thing that I believe has been a positive about growing older has been the gift of experience. And certainly, as I'm now in my 50s, the greatest gift I have had is knowledge and experience which I've gained over the years. Because everybody has a unique set of circumstances which allows you to draw upon that information, that knowledge, to make decisions which are so much better and so much positive in your life. When you've got a library in your mind to draw upon, decisions are so much easier to make. And then when you have that knowledge, you can impart that to other people through mentorship and advice, be they family, friends, colleagues, co-workers, or just people that you encounter in any other walk of life. So, and I think that continues, that gift continues as we grow older. We all have a responsibility to continue to build up that knowledge, to keep contributing books to that library of information which is inside us all, which comes through maturity. How do we continue to improve ourselves? Well, for me, I like to read, and every book that I read is another bit of information, another bit of knowledge, a bit of skill that lies within me until such time that I need to give it, and I can pass it on to others as well. Now, I do believe that growing old has many positives, and the fourth reason that I believe that is because I don't give a damn anymore. I think when I was young, I was driven by a desire to be accepted by my peers, be part of that herd mentality. And you see it even to this day. You see younger people who feel like they need to dress in a certain fashion, or they behave in a certain way, or they all want to play the same video game or use the same social media apps to communicate with each other. And again, there's this conformity which seems to be present when you're a young person. You want to be part of the collective. But I think one of the refreshing gifts which comes with later life is that you feel released from that desire to conform. And certainly as I've got older, I am far more inclined to give people my genuine opinion. I wasn't like that when I was younger. I would have been afraid to speak up and to let it be known what I think should or shouldn't be done, or give my views to people, because I didn't want to stand out from the crowd. I wanted to be part of that group. But now, as I've got older, I'm quite happy to do that. And that really manifests itself perhaps most noticeably in the way that I dress, because let's be honest, we live in a world where everybody is super casual, and people who can actually do up a tie are in the minority these days, let alone those who would actually wear them on a daily basis because they wish to look smart and presentable. And these days, if you wear a tie in the workplace or out and about, people will make an assumption you're going to a wedding or a funeral or dressing for a special occasion. Really, I don't give a damn what people think about the way I dress anymore, because I don't dress for them, I dress for me. And this has been an extremely liberating mindset to grow into as one gets older. So as you're progressing through your life, coming to the point that you feel comfortable in your skin, comfortable in the way that you dress, or comfortable in the way that you communicate your views and opinions to people, embrace it, grow into that person that you will become as the time unfolds ahead of you. Now, the fifth reason why I think growing old has many unexpected surprises, which are positive for us, and that is, I think as you get older, you understand the value of sacrifice. All right, so I'm in my 50s. I'm very fortunate still to have my parents around. And now as I've grown older and I've become a parent myself, I understand the sacrifices that my parents made to give me the best possible chance in life. And as you start to do the same for your own family, you start to realize that these sacrifices, they're not burdens, they are an expression, in fact, the definition of your love that you have for your family, your friends, and particularly, of course, if you have children or others who rely upon you and for whom you care, because sacrifice becomes, part of your life, and you appreciate it, and you appreciate the sacrifices that others have made for you. Coming from a military background, and as I am a father these days, I'm going through the process of perhaps educating my son to understand and to appreciate that the sacrifices that past generations have made for us. The lives, these wonderfully privileged, beautiful lives that we get to lead today, they are exclusively because previous generations have made the ultimate sacrifice in some cases so that we may be free and exist in this wonderful world that we are for many of us today. No parent cannot feel the keen sense of sacrifice when you stand before the war memorial in your town and you look at the names of all of those people who are inscribed on that war memorial, who gave their lives in a conflict in the past. And I always think to myself, all of those names represent the children of parents just like me, just like my parents, who they sent off to war and they never saw them again. And their sacrifice devastated the lives of their parents, their friends and their families. But they bought us the wonderful lives that we lead today. And every day, in some way or another, I acknowledge and I respect the sacrifices that have been made for me, be that by my parents or by the generations before, and I pay that forward by making sure that my son will understand these sacrifices as he grows older and he ages as well. Now, this video actually was all about understanding the positives around the aging process, and actually it's kind of developed into a bit of a somber conversation, but I'll end with a bonus point here, which I think is something that you should look forward to for sure about the passing of your years. And that is, as you grow older, hopefully you will probably become more senior in your life and in your job, and there will come a point where you feel financially liberated at last. You might have paid off the mortgage. You might have retired and you have a pension at last. You're no longer a slave to the job. And you will have financial security. And that will mean that you can then, this was coming all along, of course it's a style channel, what do you expect? You can take all of those other things, those other positives about aging, about not giving a damn and understanding your own mind better, and you can dress in the way that you've always wanted. You can treat yourself to a bespoke shirt from Turnbull and Asser. You can buy the wristwatch that you've always wanted, or the car that you've always wanted, or take the holiday to the Maldives that you've always promised yourself. There is always a positive to growing older. It's not a bad thing. The game of life is a race. It's the human race. It's called the human race for a reason. And if you can win that race, you win it by staying on the journey itself. Stay alive, keep growing older, and every birthday that you clock up, see it as a victory. It's not a bad thing. It's a very, very good thing. So there we go. Those are my thoughts of the positives of growing older and aging. It's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. Well, I hope you've enjoyed my thought process today. If you have, please give us a thumbs up and don't forget to click that subscribe button as well. If you enjoy this sort of material and everything else that we do, come on the journey with us as a subscriber to the Chaps Guide channel. So until the next time, take every day as it comes, because we age a little bit every day. So until the next time, take care of yourselves, and I will see you again very soon.